I mean, this is a due process hearing. It is supposed to be fair, transparent, and above board. And where you've got a letter that provides no context, no detail, nothing, you put board members who are subject to a due process hearing in an impossible situation to defend themselves. Ms. Booker and Mr. Jones sent open records requests to the city, got absolutely nothing back to explain why this hearing has been convened. And we disagree with Mr. Nelson, and we'll be taking this up to Superior Court if these board members are removed. We disagree. This is an evidentiary hearing. They have an opportunity to hear what the evidence is against them. They have an opportunity to cross-examine the testimony. It has to be competent, admissible testimony, and the burden is on the mayor to produce that. So we disagree with your comments that they can consult with council members outside this room to decide whether or not to remove these board members. Today is the day to produce the evidence. We want to hear the evidence. We want to see the witnesses, and we want an opportunity to cross-examine them. And we think, and the case law does support that this charge is illegitimate, it is improper, because they provided nothing to explain why this is going on other than the term inefficiency and the neglect of duty to pay city utility service, which with all due respect is patently absurd. But with that, we'd like to hear what the mayor or his witnesses or the testimony has to be.
Okay. Any rebuttal on that?
Mr. Mayor, and then I don't want to get into a proceeding because obviously legal claims can be made. Nobody in the room is a judge. But if the statute only provides that notice be provided, I will make no comment as to whether or not due process requires there to be any type of explanation as to what the charges are provided other than what the mayor has presented. So,
Well,
and excuse me.
No, that's fine.
If we are, we don't have the burden of proof, it lies with the discretion of the mayor. But obviously, for purposes of where we are today, all of these positions are being preserved for further review by a judicial process. So if so, that will be taken up at that time.
Right, and listen, I appreciate that. I just respectfully disagree. I've been practicing law for 33 years. I represent 30 public housing authorities in the state of Georgia. I have been through these termination hearings like this with other mayors, including City of Brunswick, City of Conyers, and this is not how they're doing it. They have evidentiary hearings. We called witnesses. We had an opportunity to cross-examine. If you look at the decisions nationwide, where these go up to Superior Court for review, they're commonly reversed where evidence is not put up and where I do not have an opportunity to cross-examine. So with all due respect, Mr. Nelson, I think you're misguided.
Okay. Once again, this is a hearing. There is no statements that will be made today after this. As the mayor, I expect all citizens appointed to commissions, boards, and authorities to hold a high standard. Citizens are watching, and I would hope they would expect the same from us as citizens of this great city. Ms. Booker, due to your inefficiency and irresponsibility of not paying the city and being defiant when asked multiple times when you showed up at City Hall for other events, you were terminated your services in August of 23, and you went into collections and finally paid January the 24th, or January the 4th of this year. As a commissioner, this sets a bad reflection on you, the housing authority, and the city, along with setting a bad example for the residents you represent. Would you like to present any evidence at this time?
Excuse me, is that it?
That's what I said.
Do you have any authority that makes a Board of Commissioners subject to paying utility bills for the city?
Mr. Duggan, there's no reason to argue with the mayor.
I'm asking a question. Would the mayor be willing to answer the question? I would like, I'm putting on the record, can I ask the mayor a question? Mayor, are you willing to respond?
Mr. Duggan, the mayor's provided his information.
Well, I'm going to proffer evidence that there is no city ordinance whatsoever that requires anybody on the Board of Commissioners to pay utility bills, period. There is no responsibility or duty of a board member, a commissioner member of a public housing authority to pay utility bills as a part of their duties and responsibilities. Furthermore, I think the city and the mayor may be completely misguided. Public housing authorities in Georgia are separate and autonomous governmental entities. They are not subject to the commands of the mayor. The mayor and the city cannot dictate to the housing authority. The housing authority is a separate and distinct entity. They get no funding from the city whatsoever. And the idea that you're trying to remove a board member for not paying a city utility service is patently incorrect and is reversible. And we will seek it out. And we have no idea what you're talking about, defiant or terminate your, I don't even know what you're talking about. What have you got any evidence of defiance as her member of the Board of Commissioners whatsoever? I mean, what are you talking about defiant? What date? What incident?
I'm not on trial here.
Well,
I'm not here to answer
sir, this is
questions.
a due process hearing.
I am here to present the hearing matter that she was delinquent. She was asked multiple times while at City Hall to pay her bills. She did not. And therefore, I'm asking for her removal. I'm seeking her removal.
Okay, and so you're seeking her removal for failing to pay a utility bill in a timely manner, yes?
Yes.
And you agree that that Ms. Booker did pay her a utility bill prior to your sending your charge letter of February the 23rd of 2024, correct?
Yes, she has.
Okay,
Do you have any evidence you'd like to present?
yes, I do.
Okay.
Ms. Booker, if you'd raise your right hand, you swear the testimony you're about to give this morning will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. Let me hand you what I'm going to mark as Defendant's Exhibit 1. Is Defendant's Exhibit 1 a true and accurate copy of the charge letter that the mayor sent, which is dated February the 23rd of 2024?
It is.
And the grounds for removal listed there are inefficiency, is that correct?
That's correct.
And does it also give a second ground, neglect of duty by failing to pay city utility service?
That is correct.
All right. And prior to receiving this letter, did the mayor in any way call you, communicate with you to complain about anything with respect to your performance or your conduct as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Washington Housing Authority?
Absolutely not.
Has the mayor provided you with any explanation as to what he means by inefficiency in office?
Absolutely
Has he
not.
ever talked to you about this idea of neglect of duty for failing to pay city utility service?
No, he does not.
Are you aware of any HUD rule, and when I say HUD, I mean the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development? Are you aware of any rule imposed by HUD on Board of Commissioners of Public Housing Authorities that require you to pay the City of Washington water or utility bill?
No, I'm not aware.
Did you pay the City of Washington utility bill that's at issue here prior to receiving this letter dated February the 23rd?
Yes, I did.
And did you have a bona fide dispute with respect to that bill?
Yes.
In other words, you thought that they charged you too much and for a period after which you told them to turn off and terminate the service. Is that right?
Right.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. I'm going to tender Exhibit 1. Now, did you send an open records request to the mayor
Yes, I did.
requesting him to provide an explanation as to what these charges were and what evidence he had to support them? Did you do that?
Yes, I did.
And did you receive any response from the mayor at all?
No, I did not.
Not even a phone call?
No,
Not the courtesy of a written response of any sort?
no.
Let me hand you what I marked as Defendant's Exhibit 2. Do you recognize that email?
Yes, I do.
And what is the date of that?
That is February 27th.
February the 27th of 2024?
Yes.
And did you ask the mayor to provide certain information regarding what he was talking about, including the definition of inefficiencies or a complete count of information to support his charges against you?
Yes, I did.
And you got no response whatsoever?
No, I did not.
Has any city commissioner of the city of Washington, Georgia, ever called and complained to you about your duties and responsibilities or your performance as a member of the Board of Commissioners of the Washington Housing Authority?
No.
Have you dutifully done all your duties and responsibilities as a member of the Board of Commissioners?
Yes, I have.
Have you ever acted outside of your authority as a member of the Board of Commissioners?
No, I have not.
Has your performance as a member of the Board of Commissioners been limited to taking action as a body, that is, with other members voting for you in an open meeting? Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Has HUD, and when I say HUD, I'm talking about the United States Housing and Urban Development, they come in and do periodic audits and inspections of your housing authority, don't they?
Yes.
Has HUD ever written you or any member of the Board of Commissioners of Washington Housing Authority complaining that you all were not performing your duties as members of the Board of Commissioners?
No, they have not.
You've gotten no criticisms from the Office of HUD about your performance ever?
No.
And do you attend board meetings regularly?
Yes, I do.
Do you take an active part in the running of the Housing Authority in your role as a member of the Board of Commissioners?
Yes, I do.
Do you do what the Board of Commissioners ask you to do in that role?
Yes, I do.
Have you ever had another board member criticize you in any form or fashion about your performance as a member of the Board of Commissioners?
No.
I tender Defendant's Exhibit 2, which is the open records request, the request sent to the mayor requesting information to which there was no response. Let me hand you what I have marked. Well, let me ask you this, Ms. Booker. Did you come to learn prior to today's hearing and prior to receiving the mayor's letter that is marked as Defendant's Exhibit 1, the letter of February 23rd, 2024, did you receive any sort of communication or notice that you had already been removed from the Board of Commissioners before today's date?
I saw the list
All right, and let me
where
hand
I
you
was
that.
removed, where my name wasn't on it.
Let me hand you what I've marked as Defendant's Exhibit 3. And tell me what this document is. Have you seen this document before?
Yes.
And is this a list of the Board of Commissioners that was put out by the city?
Yes, it is.
And what's the date of that?
It is February 13th.
February the 13th of 2024?
Mhm.
And is your name listed as a member of the Board of Commissioners?
No, it is not.
Do you know why?
No, I do not.
Has the mayor ever given you any explanation as to why he didn't, why he's already removed you before you were notified even of the charge letter dated February the 23rd of 2024?
No, he has not.
I'm going to tender Defendant's Exhibit 3. Now, let me ask you something, Ms. Booker. You are a member, or you a resident of the city of Washington, Georgia?
Right now, I'm not.
All right. You live in this county?
Yes, I do.
You were appointed by the former mayor?
Yes, I was.
Who were you appointed to the Board of Commissioners by? Which mayor?
Bill to go in.
All right. And the mayor that is sitting here, what's his name? Bruce Bailey?
Yes, it is.
And how long has Mr. Bailey been the mayor here in the city of Washington, Georgia?
He was sworn in January.
All right, so less than 90 days.
Correct.
And did you run against the mayor politically?
Yes, I did.
Were you on the ballot running against Mr. Bailey in the November election?
Yes, I was.
And did you withdraw, not formally, but did you end up supporting another candidate adverse to Mr. Bailey?
Yes, I did.
And then Mr. Bailey ended up winning, is that correct?
Correct.
And do you feel like this is either discrimination or retaliation by the mayor because you campaigned and ran against him?
I do believe that.
And since you have been a member of the Board of Commissioners, has HUD ever written you all a letter or given you a notice saying that you all were a troubled or substandard housing authority?
No, they have not.
And are you aware that your housing authority is financially and fiscally sound?
Yes, I am.
That you all have collectively over $2 million in the bank
Yes, I
in
am.
all of
aware.
your different accounts?
I am aware of that.
And and do you agree that you and your role of the Board of Commissioner member, that you all have managed responsibly the housing authority and have improved its operations since the time you became a member of the Board of Commissioners?
Absolutely.
That's all we have. Your witness.
Mr. Mayor, if you have any questions.
Okay. Since your term in office, when did Washington Heights fall under scrutiny? And were you in office when that happened?
Let me object to the form of the question. Assumes facts not in evidence. I don't know what scrutiny means. If you could
Were they taken over,
elaborate.
were they taken over by Mr. Stuckey's management group?
Mr. Stuckey has not taken over the management of the housing authority.
No, the Washington Heights, that portion of the housing authority.
What is your question?
Nobody's under oath here, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Duggan.
I didn't say they were. I don't understand the question. I'm objecting to it. I'm trying to understand. If I can't understand it, the witness certainly can't. What is your question?
Okay, let me rephrase to another question then. Do you oversee any education being taught to any members of the, or residents of the housing authority at this time?
Objection to the form, completely irrelevant to the charges that you've raised, but you may answer.
No, I do not oversee that.
Does the board oversee that?
No.
Does the board oversee new residents or residents being evicted?
No, we don't deal in the day-to-day. That is the duty of the executive director.
But you oversee the duties of the executive director, correct?
Yes, we
The
do.
previous executive director, was she performing as she was supposed to be?
Should I answer?
If you know.
Okay. We did not feel that she was meeting the level that was required for that position.
Was she terminated?
She resigned, retired actually.
Okay. At what point in time did y'all think that she wasn't doing her duty? What led you to believe that?
Well, seeing as how you have these questions, and I'm not prepared to give you exact dates because I asked for these questions prior to this. And if you had given them to me prior to this, then I would have been able to answer those questions.
Okay. Do you have any other representation or any other comments?
Nothing further.
Okay. At this time, I'll take this under advisement and we will notify you when I made a decision.
I do know that there appear to be 4 city commissioners in the room. Is that correct?
Council members.
Council members, is that right?
1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. Yes.
And I'm assuming this meeting was publicly noticed. Is that correct, under the Open Meetings Act?
Yes, as far as I'm aware.
Is advertised in the newspaper or otherwise publicly posted?
I have no reason to think that's not right, but we'll find out.
Well, I don't believe it was, and if that's the case, then this is an ultra-virus meeting. But nonetheless, I wanted to state that on the record. I'm not aware. I've looked. I did not see it publicly posted anywhere, either online or otherwise outside this room. And if that's the case, this would be an ultra-virus meeting, and I just want to raise that and put that on the record for when we go to Superior Court to, assuming the mayor removes Ms. Booker, we will be going to Superior Court, and we're gonna air all this out, and we will be bringing an open records lawsuit, and also a lawsuit for violating the Open Meetings Act.
Mr. Mayor, I'll remind everybody that this statute at play deals only with the mayor's discretion regarding removal. This is not a action of the city council. But obviously, Mr. Duggan and Ms. Booker can make any representations or levy any objections they want to take up another time. That's the purpose of these proceedings. So,
And for the record, if you read the cases, your discretion has to be based on competent evidence. And it's got to be based on evidence that demonstrates that the housing authority was in peril or was in substantial risk of harm. No such evidence whatsoever has been presented here. And with that, we have nothing else.
I will say that, as the mayor, I invited one council member from each district. Those are the only two I invited. The others showed up on their own, so therefore, we did not know they were coming, so therefore.
Well, I don't know about that, but I just know who's in the room, and you've acknowledged as much, and this is a public matter dealing with city business.
And I will take that into consideration. Thank you much. Meeting adjourned.
close the hearing.
Close the hearing. Close the hearing.
Thank you.
Mr. Nelson, as a matter of procedure, I've given you copies of exhibits 1, 2, and 3. Do you have any objection to my giving these original exhibits to the court reporter?
Yeah, that's fine.
And just since the city is also under an obligation to make a transcript of these proceedings, I just wanted to make sure you knew which exhibit was which.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You've got that?
We've got your copies and I have my notes.
All right,
So-
but just for the record, Defendant's Exhibit 1 is the mayor's charge letter dated February 23rd of 2024. Defendant's Exhibit 2 is the email where Ms. Booker requested of the mayor certain information. It's an email dated February 27th of 2024. And then for the record, Defendant's Exhibit 3 is an email string from February 13th, 2024, which demonstrates that the mayor had already removed Ms. Booker before today's proceedings.
I do not control that list, so.
The court reporter looked like that was taking it down, so I
Yeah,
assume,
that's fine.
I'll make sure I get with you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Are we sort of in recess till 9:30, or do y'all want to get
That's
started
your
early?
court reporter, so if he's still running, I'm not gonna stop him, but,
You ready? We'll go pee.
Mr. Nelson, are we gonna come back at 9:30, or just go on
Yeah,
and start?
Mr. Allen's ready. Mr. Jones is ready.
Let's
He has
do
to
it.
use the bathroom, so we'll go right into it.
Mr. Dillon, you ready? Let me use your bathroom.
Yeah, let's take a 10 minute.